Good morning, curling fans from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. A city split with two rivers running through the Bow and the Elbow River, which meet at Fort Calgary, not far from the Calgary Saddle Dome. Of course, was part of the 1988 Olympic Winter Games here in this city, the first Canadian city to host the Winter Olympics. We are at the Winsport Arena this morning, as we have been all week long, for the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship. And we bring you inside here as we start the last 5 sessions. We're in session 19, trying to determine playoff teams and playoff seeding. Korea takes on Japan, our feature game. An important two Asian teams that are rivals in every sport, and of course in curling here, trying to do battle. Korea trying to spoil any chance of Japan making a playoff run, a late possible playoff run at this. Let's meet the teams here in our feature matchup. For Korea, their lead, Lee Jun-hyung. Their second, Park Se-won. The third, Kim Jong-min. And the skip of the Korean champions, Jang Young-suk. And not far from South Korea is Japan with their lead, Shinya Abe. Second, Yasumasa Tanida. Third, Tetsuro Shimizu. Cool, collected Yuta Matsumura. Both these teams coming in with losing records. They want to try and change that, get some wins going to finish off strong at this championship. We know one team is into the playoffs. That's Sweden at a 9-2 record. Then RCF at 8-2. Scotland's 8-3, just ahead of Norway, USA at 7-3. Canada 2 losses yesterday. They're back at 7-4, hold that 6th spot. And then Switzerland, Italy, and Japan still have a chance, need some help. As you see, the 3 teams at the bottom, 2-8, including Korea in our feature matchup today. Well, the usual, good game, good curling between the teams. As we look at all the other games here in session 19, RCF taking on Norway. RCF at 8-2, Norway 7-3. We're on sheet B, where we'll keep an eye on Korea and Japan. Sheet C, Switzerland needs to keep winning and get some help. They're at 5-5, taking on Netherlands. Sheet D's China against Germany. China at 2-8, Germany 3-7 in that one. So a full slate of games. Just 5 sessions left in round robin. Seems like we were just beginning. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Luke Coley, joined with Olympian and Canadian champion Melissa Saligo. And for you look at these two teams, they're rivals on the ice, but Japan still mathematically has a chance.
They do. And they had such a good day yesterday. They're coming off 2 victories, and they want to keep that momentum going into this very important game for them. As long as there's a chance, and you want to keep that going.
Obviously, we'll talk, they need some help, everything to work out in their favor. They have to win. They can only control that portion. And then for Korea on that side, team, not a lot of world experience, and a chance for them to learn. We see last stone draw. They've learned they will have the hammer. Great draw shot numbers there, 54.2 centimeters to win the last stone and hammer in the first end. Japan will have the yellow stones. For Korea, chance to learn. Try and knock off Japan, one of their rivals, and really just have a good experience. They've already knocked off Canada for the first time.
Well, and that's right. And you know they're going to leave with that amazing feeling of beating Team Canada. But for them, it's all about learning, trying to pick up little things here and there that they can take into their development and training in the years to come. It's such a young team, and they've got a lot of years ahead of them.
They did beat Kim Chang-min, of course, a familiar face representing Korea at the Olympics World Championship. Beat them in their national championship in December. Earned the right to be here, as did Japan, and this Matsumura team winning their Japanese title. So Shinya Abe will get this one underway.
As you mentioned, Luke, the rivalry between these two nations, it'll be interesting to see how they go after each other, if they're going to put a lot of rocks in play and try and get things going and put pressure on each other.
4초 줘.
That first end is obviously an indication of that by the first rock going short. And Team Korea wasting no time but going around it.
Lee Jun-hyun, lead for this Korean team. Full-time curlers this on the Korean side.
약해, 약해, 가져야 돼. 약해.
Out of the Weijongbu Curling Club, just
형, 인아웃 해야 돼.
northeast of Seoul.
Yep, yep, yep.
조금만 더. 세이브야.
사이드에서 별로 안 나가는 거.
샷. 뛸게.
You see the brushing ability of both of these teams, very strong. That one just not finishing quite enough, so opportunity for Japan to get a hit and roll behind their center guard.
So in the rings and a couple center line guards. I think Japan, knowing they may have that experience, try and put the pressure on Korea early on this game.
여섯, 일곱. 라인 좋아요. 룸.
스위치 라인.
룸. 세훈이 형 거예요.
T 라인 6.
So Korea was able to hit that rock that's just biting top 12 because it is on the rings, but they've elected to try and put a rock in a better position by coming around those two stones.
좀만 더 헐. 뺏겨진 것 같은데.
오케이. 좋아요. 샷.
웨이트 괜찮아.
Well, goes back button. Room to still chase after this.
Yeah, a little mistake there. You didn't want to bring that as deep as it was. Even if it showed a little peeked out of the guard, you wanted to kind of keep it a bit higher. This gives Japan a great opportunity now to hit and even roll a little more behind those yellow guards.
Yes.
You can just see the finish on the stones.
Just touches that one over.
What a fabulous shot. You watch the brushing here.
Yep.
So Korea already just a little behind the 8 ball here early in this end, so just trying to clean things up now. Want to make sure they have a chance on their last stone if they need to hit the 4-foot.
Japan's had a very inconsistent week. They haven't really put it together. They've won a game, lost a few. Won a couple games, lost a couple. And that sort of, that whole week morphs into a game, and it's been, they have a good end, missed the last shot. Have a bad end, make the last shot.
And that's exactly right, Luke. We've watched a lot of their games, and it's interesting that for Japan, they just can't seem to put 8 consecutive shots together per end. It's always someone just missing a shot or 2 per end, and it makes it a lot more difficult on their young skip to make the shots he needs to get the ends. So you gotta put not only a string of shots together, but a string of ends together to come out victorious.
Park Se-won wanting to just open things up. They even clipped the second one.
Great shot. Nice call.
They don't mind leaving that guard out.
It's not ideal, but they were getting a little bit under pressure with the 2 yellow stones that were fully buried, so you could have just either peeled the one, but at least by peeling both of them, there was no option but leaving your guard there, but at least it's your guard now. If you need to use it, run it back, it's there for you. And it also is just off center, so the button is fully exposed at the moment.
Line's good. Line's good.
Still, Japan will continue to try and force here. putting the pressure on Team Korea.
Yes. 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 もうちょい。もうちょい。もうちょい。Yes. Yes. 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 Yes.
So right around, they lie to. A couple early misses, and Korea's been chasing in this first end. Kim Jong-min, of course, started the event playing at second, and they did make a lineup change, swapped it around, swapped him and Park Se-won.
Shot. Shot.
Trying to make sure they have a chance to score. There still is forfeit available. And rules of play, 6 ends minimum, 38 minutes of thinking time with 1/62 timeout. Of course, the 5 rock free guard zone rule comes into play. Can't remove it till the 6th stone. Anything out in front of the rings. And we've seen that come into play. Get those guards out in front. And Japan's utilizing that right now.
This comes back to shot selection, really, Luke, in the first end. Japan throwing their center guard up. Korea coming around. And then they were wide open, so hit and stick by Japan. And the really important part here is that Korea ignored that stone that was hittable because it was on the rings and tried to come around and came behind the tee line and gave Japan that option to hit and roll behind, and that's the stone we see there in the 4-foot. So now it's chase, chase, chase for the rest of the end. I think if I was Team Korea, I may want to run one more yellow guard. This has to be perfect. Haven't seen a lot of stones out there yet. It's got lots of weight on it.
Trying to get to the inside, but it's hanging out for Kim Jong-min.
ここ投げられてもさ、そんな、あんまり意味ないけど2取って、まあここ投げちゃえばさ、まあ2人でか、っていうのはあるよね。
別に残さなくてもいいぐらいだね。中途半端に残るぐらいやったら。
10秒。9でいいか。
これちょっと下がっちゃったからな。
こっちから投げるんだったらこっちからじゃない。
悪くないと思うけど。こう当たっても多分別に大丈夫だと思う。
いいと思うよ。ショートでも悪くないからね。
Well, trying to freeze basically the same shot that Korea was playing, ignoring that one there.
This comes down to deciding what your end plan is. I would have thought that for Japan, their end plan was to force Korea to take a single with the hammer. So if you want to force, you'd probably hit that red stone, roll away, lie 3. This shot's a little more difficult, obviously, and this is almost trying to set themselves up for a steal. Because that yellow stone is just back tee, there is a chance for Korea to come with the other turn and freeze to it. So I think if I was going to draw, I would actually throw the other turn if I was Japan.
Well, the aggressive call here for Matsumura. And they're going to come up short. Just biting top of the 12-foot. But as you said, that red stone for Korea now stays in play.
Yeah, I think if Matsumura wanted to put the pressure on Korea, they would have actually thrown the turn that Korea's electing to throw right now. Take away the center line side of that rock.
Well, playoff implications over on RCF Norway Sheet A. It is 2 RCF stones that are counting right now. Norway with the hammer. Looks like hitting for a single point. We'll probably roll into it.
I believe so. I don't think the double is there, or the double is there, but I don't think he can lose his shooter. So this is a good force here by RCF.
The surprise team this week have to be RCF. Looking to hit and stick for one. And we'll roll in, so Norway gets an early single point. Also a team right in the playoff hunt. But they had a tough day yesterday with 2 losses.
That was such great weight there for the Team Korean skip, but just bounced off. Needed another couple inches of curl.
몇 초예요? 정민이 형, 몇 초예요? 13초 반. 8? 반. 5. 프리즈? 프리즈.
Long look at it, and obviously it wasn't where they wanted it to be exactly. But now you're forcing Japan to come after it, get a small mistake, and could even bring that other red into play.
It looks like Japan's elected to throw the freeze on this redstone just thrown by Korea. I would be tempted to actually move it to third shot and sit right there, and it would be very difficult for Korea to remove anything. So first shot here is to freeze, second maybe to tap if the weight and line are good. You can see this taking off. It's going to curl a ton here once it gets to center.
Just leaning on it, got to get past the front, sneak it by. Chip, roll off.
There's so many opportunities in this end for Japan.
뭐 이것도 있어? 여기도 괜찮을 것 같아.
And now it looks like Korea may have a difficult chance or shot here, but they looks like they can get 2. Not easy.
If you get to the inside of that red one, or the yellow one, pardon me, play the hitter, or is there a draw to get full 4-foot?
I thought maybe the draw is what they originally looked at. I don't think they can hurt themselves with
이거
the
얼마나
draw.
보여주냐?
There's also the interim
형 안에
clockwise
패드 하나
tap.
있어요. 공간. 패드 하나 있어요.
공판 좀 약할 것 같아. 그치? 네. 이거 앞에 맞아버리면 있어서. 근데 여기 들어오고 여기 들어갈 수 있는 거. 편하게 되죠? 네. 몇 개 나가죠. 근데 여기가 살짝만. 좀 버튼 좀 물려야 되거든. 11.
라인
They
10개
have the
보자.
opportunity, and
제가
2 misses from Yuta
그냥.
Matsumura. That's not putting the full end. They had control, and he played 2 shots that both coming up short.
That's exactly right. Great point is that he missed both of his shots, unfortunately. This is not a gimme by any means.
안 썼던 곳이죠.
Very difficult. He has to hit just a sliver of the button to count for his second point. But I like this call better than the hit. If you ever throw the hit, and your rocks go flying. There's those other 2 yellow counters, so great shot selection here.
타이트하다, 지금 타이트하다.
Jung Young-seok,
라인 타이트해.
first time at a World Championship, trying to start off this game with a deuce.
와.
And it's already over curled.
We're gonna see if they can overcurl that stone and try and go the other way to get in. Do they get behind, get in for 2 that way?
Wow, that was close.
Great effort and recognition, Kim Jong-min, to know. Maybe we overcurl it and try and go for 2 that way. But it won't get quite far enough. Perfect weight, but it is only a single point for Korea. They lead 1-0 over Japan after an end.
웨이트는 괜찮아?
애초에 이걸로 보면 좋았어요.
그렇지, 이것도 갔어도 됐다. 근데 이렇게 안쪽 라인까지 돌 줄 몰랐는데. 이게 10.
아쉽다.
10? 지금 10 하나 잡았거든? 약간 텐션 있게 못 넣은 거 같아. 그래서 좀 많이 떨려. 베이트는 T였잖아. T.
Good force. And good discussion on your number 1 rock. Hit. Not a good call. Because we're behind the tee line. If they were up and we could roll, that's okay. But draw was the right call. So, good discussion.
약간 망설인 것 같아요.
이게 맞으면 안 되니까 앞에 라이트보다. 여섯 티. 여섯. 좀 잡아도 돼, 세연아.
End number 2 begins. A single point by Korea.
여섯 티. 라인.
Well, they try to put this one in, see what they can do without the hammer. Japan gets the hammer back after a force, but almost the 2. See the importance of not giving up on a stone for Korea.
They were so close, another foot of weight, and they actually would have made it through that hole and got their deuce. But I love the recognition, as you said, and for such a young team to just be able to see that and call it. So really good end here for Korea in the first. So we've seen this tactic for Japan. They always with hammer will throw that corner guard more times than not. Got a really good strategy.
And here they can get it up without a worry of that stone being that much of a risk in the house.
Yeah, that Korean stone just back 12. Not really a factor at the moment.
So it looks like they want this one tight. Sometimes with this first stone deep, they bring it into the house.
And you can see the spot that rock ended up. It actually chokes off the yellow corner by that Japan threw. So Shinya Abe now being forced out a little wider to have to go around the red Korean stone instead.
Great judge there to put that one for Abe just into the top of the 8-foot.
Nice shot. So important that was out counting that one at the back 12 as well.
라인 빠지면 뒤로 볼게.
Korea looking for the corner freeze.
Trying to get that late curl. We've seen a lot of finish the last couple days.
That's a really good spot.
Bob Russell, the Canadian coaching the Japanese team. He's been with this team for a few years after coaching Korea and Kim Chang-min actually at the Olympic Winter Games in 2018. You see, saw him between ends of the start of the second end. Always having that communication with Matsumura, and obviously Matsumura doesn't speak a lot of English, but is able to pick up little bits. And that's a big factor too, is dealing with the language barrier.
Great shot. That's in a super great position. Angles are favoring Japan right now.
스윙까지도 만들만해요. 4초? 9?
So playing in the top part of the house here, and number 2. These teams will have 2 games remaining after this one.
딜라인.
갈게요.
괜찮은 것 같아.
오!
괜찮은 것 같아. 천천히 봐.
룸.
7, 6.
리.
야, 도와준다. 야,
나이스 굿.
야,
좋아요.
가야 돼, 가야 돼.
헐. 6티. 딜라인.
Trying to go right around everything.
와우. 정민영 돼. 정민영.
Great communication on this shot. What a team shot.
스위핑.
Fantastic.
Great touch and Korean side. Coming in, they don't bring they don't have a team coach. Not everyone does, but so there is a timeout. Their alternate Samin Cook will come out, talk it over with them. But seeing a lot of the development, and they'll have a national program that'll be working with them, obviously, because of Olympic implications here at this event. Top 6 teams will qualify for next year's Olympic Winter Games.
So Japan looking just to move their stones around here. Want to free up their yellow stones so that they can use them in a rock or two. And if they could keep that one in, that's even better. It's a great shot. Korea's going to have to be careful here. There's some Japan yellow stones are just starting to build up.
Even with Korea lying 3, it's still threatening for Japan.
We've seen what Japan can do. We've seen that they can throw those high, hard ones, move a lot of granite at one time. And now with the way those yellow stones are staggered, there's actually probably going to be a drag effect there. So this has to be a perfect guard for
라인
Korea.
기다릴 수 있어.
있어. 둘이야, 둘, 셋.
와. 준영아 와.
셋이야, 영석아 이거. 셋. 확실히 있어.
여기 안 돼.
클린만 해줘.
아직.
라인 좋아. 크러쉬.
일단 세원이 라인이야.
아직 좀 넘어.
Korean Park just, they'll stay very close on a lot of these. They're not very far away from the stone on almost every single one.
A little deep.
1번.
So I think 2 options here. They can actually double peel the red stones, or they can run that red one now onto the 2 yellows.
今こっちの赤からこうが一番2個目の黄色ねに行くのが一番いいけど
追いつかなくないか。
これ狙いってこっちでも悪くないわ
左に当てたら黄色で。
センターのこっちは。
こっち
9秒とかどう半分当てぐらいで9秒とか。先にそこ動かさんと。
9とかかい。9秒とか。
やるなら8かな
ああ、8でもいいかもね。
So because it came tighter, they can play the run back a lot easier.
十分残りそうだけど。
Yeah, Matsumiura was looking at playing the one on the right-hand side, the red one, thinking that if he hits the top yellow, it will drag the other way. But those stones, they won't drag, but those stones have a little bit of space between them. But they're still close enough, so the closer the stones are, the more drag, meaning that they act like one. So I think this is the right call, hitting this one versus the other one. So good conversation there with the team to make this decision.
Yes, Shinken そのまま
Abe trying to curl this one, catch it across the top. Opens up that center line. It's still Korea lying those 2 in the 4-foot. Probably wanted to curl a hair more on that one.
Just a hair more and maybe with a little more weight.
앞에요? 일단 다 이쯤이야.
Again, Korea in really good position here, line 2.
이거 지금
But
50 보인다.
again, there's some Japan stones lying around the rings here.
상관없어.
이거는 상관없어. 이게 더 위에.
여기까지 괜찮긴 한데. 여기가 제일 좋아요.
오케이. 6이지?
5보다 좀만 더.
지금처럼.
라인 좀 더.
공반일 좋아해. 공반일.
아니 좋아. 세지만 않게 오자.
Korea throwing another guard.
좋아. 7.
아니야,
Trying to protect those 2 stones in the 4-foot area.
웨이 좋아, 영석.
와!
약간 다운웨이트.
스위치 라인, 스위치 라인.
7이야. 7. 8.
They're coming right in. They've got a lot of weight on it.
Yep. Hard.
Have to be careful of the angles, bringing this one right down to the face.
기다리면 괜찮은데.
So they lie 3, but all right in the forefoot, and that one wide open.
Not sure why they wanted to come right in, to be honest. I think they were trying to take away maybe the hit and roll away from the one that's on the side 8 foot.
RCF and Norway on sheet A, keeping you up to date. There is a red stone for RCF. As we look, Dmitry Mironov in the house for RCF.
Линия сам. Только вес, ребят. Только вес.
Sergei Glukov draw the forefoot for 2.
Только вес. Кусить 4 надо. Кусить 4.
Looks like he just needs a piece of the 4.
Вообще похож 14-40. Хорош.
There it is. He's made a million of those this week. And no mistake there, Luke.
No, right to the button. 2 more for RCF. It's been an impressive week for Glukov and company. They lead 2-1. Of course, Norway coming in 7-3. RCF 8-2. Norway knows they need to pick up a win after 2 losses yesterday.
It's kind of a tricky situation here for Japan. Obviously, they could try and play a double, but then that rock on the right-hand side would be fully buried and it wouldn't probably go anywhere. They could play the hit and flop, which is what I think they're looking at. But that really eliminates the scoring area almost. I don't think there's a triple of any sort there.
触るんだったら本当ノーズしてもう相手にヒットロールさせてだけどヒットロールさせちゃったらもうここだからそれだったらこっちの方がまだいいと思う。11。
They obviously want to get something out of the forefoot.
Absolutely. I think if they hit maybe 7/8 low side, so crossing the face of the rock, he'll have the ability to catch the one at the back 12, which would be good. And you want to keep your shooter right there. You don't want your shooter to roll very far. You want to have Korea make a shot at it, or an attempt at it. But I don't know what they might be sitting second after this.
Depends how they hit it. Sits on the corner. Definitely not shot stone, but second. Question is whether he'll get a chance to make a play on those 2 at all in the end now.
Yeah, I think it overcurled maybe by a couple of inches. It would have been nice to be on the other side of that red shot stone. As you say, it's going to be extremely difficult now to even get that red one out.
여기도 괜찮긴 한데 바깥 서버리면은 가기 너무 쉬워서.
Another team in the thick of things for the playoffs. Switzerland coming in 5-5. They're taking on Netherlands, who lead this game 1-0. Looks as though it is Netherlands lying 1. Benoit Schwartz is last.
I think he's trying the double here, but I'm not sure he can save a shooter.
And will miss it. Doesn't catch the back one. So a steal.
1 red.
And Switzerland, who lost, gave up 2 yesterday to Denmark to lose a tough one in a wild evening session here in Calgary. 2-0 Netherlands leading Switzerland.
Goed afgestraft en gewoon lekker volgehouden. Dus
Netherlands coming in 2-8, trying to win game number 3.
Team Korea really eating up some time on their clock trying to make this decision. I think right now Japan maybe has the in-off off the yellow one on the 8 foot. That would be their biggest worry. They also have the red-yellow run, but that's not easy by any means. Or they have the draw to the pinhole, which again, not easy. So I think you can't block everything, obviously. So I think if they put this one maybe top 12, top 8 even. tolerance would be short.
아사 준혁이가 타이트하다.
They could corner freeze it actually. Yeah, I'm just looking at where he's got his broom.
나이스 웨이트만.
What they're trying to
Now this is over curling and I think it's light.
바꿔야 돼.
They won't get past the front. We've seen so much since they touched up the stones a couple nights ago, and seeing that extra curl and the weight comes off and they just dive.
Yeah, really hard to hold it as well once that happens. So
決まんなかったね。ここ投げられちゃう。俺一応これは残ってるからさ、これの縦狙い？
Japan with hammer here, I would be tempted to try and give yourself more than one shot here on your last. So the only way you could do that is to play the double, peel the two guards out front. But it looks like Matsumura wants to take a shot at it now. He's going to play red into yellow and try and get rid of those two red stones. If you make it, it's fantastic, but you might not have much left on your last. So I would say maybe 3/4 high side, 7/8.
Pretty close to where the broom is.
Exactly.
Not going to see a lot of curl on these hit weights.
Thing is, you're running a opposition stone into it. So if you ever stick it, you're not much farther ahead other than your shot rock.
Well, it's a 1-0 game here. Matsumura, his first. Comes flying out of the hack here. Got to hold the line. And they'll pick the one off the button. That one over curled on them.
You can see his face. He was, yeah, it really did over curl, even with that weight. This is a good look at it. Trying to hold the line. Very fortunate just to get that one.
They held it a little more. He might have gotten really lucky and just touched their yellow and still been able to pick that one out.
Exactly. It's a great shot, though. I mean, I know it's not what he wanted, but Team Japan line 1 currently.
Forcing Korea to hit one, and with all those yellows building up. This is a must hit and stick.
You almost want, I don't know if he called it this way, but you almost want Korea to hit and roll under to take away that long yellow run again from Matsumura, because that's the one he just played. I don't think there's any double. Yeah, just trying to get the roll in. And caught shot rock.
Wow.
Wow.
Good control way to throw that and manage with the sweepers.
That's fantastic.
Is there a double, though, with the run? It's not easy, the run double.
I think it's there. What a great call.
Just by the smallest of margins gets shot stone on this.
Look at that management of that stone. Fantastic. So is there a double? I think so. I think Matsumura can just hit a little high side again.
Use that yellow in between to try and get both the reds out.
It's hard to know whether it'll go over top, but it should clip that red one if nothing else. And just depending on the weight, if it'll move back.
Korea line 1.
This is a big shot. For a bundle.
Real close. Catch it.
What a shot.
Avoid the jam, and they'll bring that top one into play for 4.
Amazing. Fantastic. What a shot.
They'll confirm it, but Matsumura, he's made some fabulous ones. That one's right up there this week.
Wow, look at this. He saw it, he called it, and couldn't have hit it any better.
Doesn't disturb any of those yellows, so it is the 4. Just enjoy that great shot making from Matsumura to take a 4-1 lead. Trying to figure out what
Did he just make a shot for 4?
You wouldn't know it with that reaction. 4-1.
So users
Japan leading.
switch our sweeping up early. Nice shots.
Back inside the Winsport Arena, the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship 2021. Melissa Saligo and myself, Luke Coley, saw that one sort of building throughout. Japan just sort of playing it patiently, left themselves that opportunity, and as Yuta's done this week, make the big shot.
That's one of those things that happen is if you leave your opposition stones around the house without hammer, it can come back to bite you, and that's exactly what happened. The Korean skip on his last made an excellent shot, made a hit and roll to the button. You thought, oh, I'm safe. But with that fantastic shot by Matsumura, run double to get 4. Unbelievable.
So now Creel trying to go back at it with the hammer. We're looking good, and then just like that, the run back made by Matsumura. And you find some teams will play for that. They'll play to have that shot available for their skip, know that the chance at the big end. See if they play it a little simpler now when they have the hammer, that being Japan. Not taking the risk.
Well, and they don't need to. You know, we've seen this a number of times throughout the week where teams have leads and they just keep their foot on the gas pedal rather than just taking a look at their surroundings and just trying to play maybe a little bit simpler. For Korea now, it's so early in the game, they just need a deuce back. So they threw up the corner guard.
And they're going to use it.
And they're going to use it. Excellent.
Not a tight centerline guard. And watch this one. Gets by with room. And we'll make that turn right in behind.
Yeah, this kind of ice is such a nice plain surface. You can get by a guard by 12 or 14 inches and still bury completely.
Is that an adjustment for a team like Korea that hasn't played at a World Championship? On this, obviously, they played in the venue. Their national championship was at the venue that hosted the Olympic Winter Games in 2018. So an arena surface. But here you're at the Worlds, you're playing with these stones. It's got to be different when you haven't played there before.
I would think so, and it's all about learning how to manage your release. And so if you're playing on straighter ice and you're usually thinking about maybe only throwing 1 to 2 rotations, that's what you need on straighter ice. When you have this kind of curl, you have to, and you look at this rock coming down right now, you have to look at the number of rotation. It has to be up there between 3.5, 4 almost, in order to manage it properly on this kind of ice surface. So it is a big adjustment for teams that aren't used to playing on curling ice.
살짝 안쪽.
인턴. 오케이.
So Korea could ignore these 2 stones, but they are in a great position for Japan. So they're going to try and hit and maybe roll over to the corner. Maybe catch the one that's in the rings as well.
Well, they can catch the back edge and still make that. Opening up the forefoot.
The only thing about that shot is the staggered guards that Korea has thrown. They're in such good position right now for them to have buried one around. I know it takes a lot of patience to do that because you have to ignore 3 yellow stones or opposition stones on the center line, but
Now seeing the peel from Japan is they don't like that situation.
I don't blame them.
So it gets rid of 1, knows that it was tough to make that double peel.
And they're okay with that. The most important thing is they took away the stagger. You don't want to try and allow your opposition to bury a rock behind staggered rocks because it's just much harder to get access to it.
라인 비슷해, 웨이트만. 셋.
자, 타임 가.
셋. 계속 와줘. 라인은 괜찮아.
They're trying to come around the corner guard.
Light on the first, and really working Lee and Kim. Just leaning on it, trying to get this anywhere at all into the house. Look over China and Germany. It's been a disappointing week for both these teams, but a learning chance for them coming into the World Championship. 1-0 China leads. Germany 3-7, China 2-8. But there's also playing at the stake. The last team, ranking-wise, loses a spot at next year's World Championship for that zone. So for Germany, it would be, if they are there, would be Europe losing one spot. For China, would be the Pacific Asia region losing one spot, which is a big thing for these teams. They'd have to go through the World Qualification event. But at this point, Germany looks like it's a tap for two. This very young German team, Sixten Totzek.
I think it's at least for 2, maybe even 3. I'm not sure if that yellow one behind the guard's out counting the other red stone. But really big shot here for Team Germany to at least get a deuce on the board. It's got to curl a ton, just maybe a little bit too much weight.
I'll chip it. Do they chip it far enough? And it's going to be a steal of 1. Maybe a little bit inexperience there for Totzek and overthrowing that. So a 2-0 China lead after 3 ends. Shimizu has a hit here, chance to remove that stone in the house. Mentioned about the ranking, China coming in with that 2-8 record. That's the same as Korea. So they both are near the bottom, don't want to be that lowest seed.
Yeah, this would be a big win for Korea if they could be successful against Japan. That was a nice hit and roll. You just see the finish again. Totally leaning on that to try and hold it. Does hang in the rings though, that's really key. So on third stones, they're going to take one more shot at coming around the corner guard. I would think that if for any reason this is unsuccessful, if Japan has a chance at it, they're going to maybe find a way to bail, because right now they're being forced. And with a 3-point deficit, they don't really want to be forced to win.
Nice
shot.
Behind. Second shot in the rings for Korea.
3分の1.
Good look at it, Luke. You can't see very much of that stone. Two things could happen here, though. They can make the shot that's called, which is the tap and roll. Keep your shooter in play. But if it does over curl and you throw the right weight, which is, it looks like he's throwing maybe back line, you can actually tick off the red guard and roll in as well. That accomplishes two things. You put another rock in play, and you also expose the stone that's third shot.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes.
A couple different options there. Looking at Netherlands and Switzerland. Netherlands coming in 2-8. And they lead 2-0 right now. Benoit Schwartz, his last. Trying to bring a couple of biters into play. Hit for 3.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, we'll measure. It's probably out, but
Well,
I mean, you would probably
And I
measure too,
believed
right?
you.
So, yeah.
So 2 for sure. Gonna measure to see if it's their third
C'est
point.
beaucoup out, mais
but worse, a tie game.
Ouais, donc il n'y a aucune chance. Ouais.
So as they measure, we'll get you the score on that one.
And in
2
our
for
sheet,
sure.
sorry, look on our sheet, big mistake by Matsumura. He just underthrew it. It overcurled, actually tapped the Korea rock in. I'm not sure if it's out counting. I think it is out counting the biter at the back house. So this is a chance to lie 3.
Oh, gets a little roll, probably just a sliver underneath of that guard. Japan, their worst enemy on that first shot by Matsumura.
ランバックする？いや、やるんだったらこっちだ。俺出せるかな？この間あるからね。これも飛びそうだ。これかなり微妙だよね。パットの方が投げやすい？
As he decides, tough not to look back at this one. Just an end to go.
Not an easy shot for sure. Run back double to lie 4.
Yeah, that was a big score for them, and now he's got himself in some trouble.
まあ薄いっちゃう。
Lower or
結構薄いっちゃ薄い。
easier shot was the one he played with his first, but just underthrew it. Now forced to make a difficult shot with his second.
Yeah, he was looking for probably at least back line, a good solid back line, and he probably threw maybe T-line at best. And as we said, tapped that second, or at the time, second Korean guard in.
See the scores, 2-1 on sheet A, we're 4-1. Netherlands, Switzerland, it was only 2 for the Swiss, and China leading Germany 2-0 over on sheet D. Matsumura needs another run back. Trying to get both of them. Stick that one, that's actually not in a bad spot, probably holds to 2.
I think that was a great shot. I agree. I don't think there's an opportunity to get rid of that Yellowstone and give up the 3. So Korea electing just to throw the draw to, looks like full 8 for their 2 points. Nice shot by Matsumura.
It's always that bounce back. You make a miss, you want your next one to be a good result. And giving up only 2 after that first rock miss is a good one. Jang Young-seok.
So looking at a time between the 2 hoglines, I would be guessing around anywhere between 14-3 and 14-7. We haven't seen this sheet yet, so
Right in the ballpark.
yep, that would be about right. Just trying to get that to T-line so they can compare notes, and that's perfect.
So into the forefoot, it is 2 right back by Korea. Cut the lead to 1. We're through 3 ends of our feature game, Korea and Japan. Japan with a 4-3 edge.
포지션은 잘 만들었. 잘 나와서 조금 늦은 했거든.
9반? 레이싱 9반. 9반 4초가 딱 좋아 지금.
딱 우리 보헤는까지 딱 1, 2 한 번만.
ワンアップでここ持ってっから。あんまり無茶しないで過ごしていくので。
Our feature game this morning, Korea against Japan. It's a battle of these two teams coming out of the Pacific Asia region. Always know we're in for a tight battle with these two, along with the third member of that region, China, playing at this year's World Championship. Japan with the best record of the three right now at 4-6. Still has life in the playoffs, but it needs a lot of help to give them a chance, coming in at 4-6, while Korea at 2-8. They are eliminated, but for a team in a first World Championship, love to pick up a third win, especially against Japan. We'll see. Throughout this end, the tournament numbers 87% for Shinya Abe.
That's so important what you're saying there, Luke, is there's a lot more on the line than just simply a win-loss, right? It's two nations battling each other, both from the Asian region, and as well, if Korea wins and goes to 3-8, they bring down Japan 4-7. So there's that, they kind of put them in the mix if China were to win their game as well. So lots of implications here.
%87 for the championship, Lee Junhyung.
So Korea put the high center up. Japan coming around it, nice spot, top four. So looking for a corner freeze here.
태원이 라인. 오케이, 6 좋아. 6.
You can see it, they're getting by the guard. That one's getting by the guard by a couple of feet.
Yep.
And then just finishing, lovely.
Just goes sideways.
Wow.
The last time Japan had the hammer, they made a great shot for 4. Use the corner guards now. Everything around the center.
And the reason they came around the center was because it was so high. If it would have been tighter, you probably would have seen them throw a corner guard.
Right to the corner.
Nice shot.
So it gives us a chance. We'll see what's going on sheet A, RCF and Norway. RCF leading 2-1. Looks like Norway has one top 8 foot, and this a draw for 2.
RCF hit and rolled out on their last skip stone, so this is an opportunity for a free draw for 2 points.
Norway got off to a great start. Going into yesterday, they were leading the table 7-1, but 0-2 yesterday. Love nothing more than a win, and they can bring RCF down. They can jump up. Stefan Valstad, no problem. He'll draw right in. And Norway will get their 2 and a 3-2 lead after 4 ends of play.
Føler seg det nok så aggressivt sammenlignet med avstandsfrysen på...
赤にフリーズ。じゃなかったらこれ1個切ったら。そっちは良さそうだよね。
Sometimes when in doubt, if you're not sure exactly what you do in the house, you go up, you peel the guard.
I like this goal better. There's some perfect shots that have been made. Japan sitting 1, but the other 2 rocks in front of the top 12 foot are lined up. So just try and open it up a little for yourself. I actually think the danger rock was this particular stone that's still there, not the one that he peeled.
하면 별로야, 영서가?
뒤에?
그거 각이 그렇게 좋아 보이지 않는데?
아니야, 양서. 해, 네가 가져가. 아니야, 여기도 괜찮을 것 같아. 네.
괜찮아 보여.
약하지 않으면 될 것 같아.
오케이.
4초로 갈까요?
Looking at the angles of whether they can get around, you see in the top right picture, the monitors, the overheads that all the players have access to. Here inside the Winsport Arena, see a lot of eyes turn to those, especially at the other end, just to, what's the angle? What is that situation?
Such an advantage for a thrower to be able to look up and see that. So you can get a perfect idea of what you want to do on your shot and get on the same page as your skip. So Korea electing to come around everything. Do not want this to be behind the tee line.
Okay, see.
It goes just back button. This is the fourth end. Japan has the hammer, the yellow stones.
Matsumura just having a look at the angles there.
So do the front end members of the other end. See, we are on sheet B.
That's such a great feature. I really like it.
前から全部やっちゃっても良さそうだけどな。まだセカンドだし。
Well, after looking at the angles on the monitor, this is what's facing Japan with the hammer. Peel it open or try and run it onto the yellow.
If you run it onto the yellow and red at the top 12 are frozen. So depending on where you hit it, it'll drag. And it may drag right back on your yellow stone that's sitting top 4. So you have to be a little careful here.
Definitely running it back into the pack. And gets all the reds.
Shot. He's so good at looking at those angles.
Well, the big weight had to be right on, and Tanita nails that one perfectly.
So for Korea, now looking at two yellow stones without hammer here in the fourth end. What a great shot by Japan.
And a miss by Korea, just ticking it over. They get caught with the extra curl. Now, all of a sudden, Japan's an even better situation.
Oh, you can just see at the very end there, it looks like he kind of helped it out of his hand. And by what I mean by that is he actually got it turned a little bit. You just can't do that on this ice surface. Best sweepers in the world couldn't hold it.
そしたら追ってくるんじゃない？狭くなっちゃうね。あ、そっちね。
いや結局そしたらこっち開くんじゃないか。前狙いに行って打ちで。
前当たっちゃってこっちでも悪くないと思うよ。
センターをコーナーに押してコーナー作るのが理想だけどね。
センターを押そう。センターを押そう。ガード。
センターガードあるの？
こっち？
あ、こっちに。こっち行った方がいいくね。
こっち行った方がいい。
So worried about that center line guard at the same time lying too.
Couple of options here, Luke. They could just, the original call was just to draw to the back 12 and just separate their stones. There would be no double opportunity. I really like that. The other option, he was worried about the one that you can only see partially behind the center guard. If Korea ever were to come around, I still think you'd have access to it. So this is probably the most difficult of all the three options. But if he makes it good, he's going to tick it and try and roll both of them into the rings.
Try and get both of them in.
And I don't know if he got either.
But he opens up that one on the top, nothing to hide behind on the center line. Was a little further out to try and play that split.
You would have needed to hit it a lot thinner with probably another good 5 feet of weight. So I think that was a good opportunity for Japan to sit 3 with hammer. And they just made it way more difficult for themselves.
Kim Jong-min, 79% for the championship. Japan still in a position to score 2.
뭐. 오케이.
That one will tap it through.
The importance too for Korea now is that they do have to hit and stick on their remaining stones, because that yellow Japan stone up at the top right there would be the chance for Japan to split it in. So you want to make sure for Korea that they retain all of their shooters in play.
Yes. Green. Whoa. Whoa.
Well hit. We'll roll just to the side, nestle up to that other yellow stone.
That's a good spot. They have to be really careful as they're lining it up right now. If they hit and roll to the center, they may jam it on that back red one.
네. 어차피 여기 맞지 않는 이상 잼은. 좀 있게 갈게요. 노말로 갈게. 아웃은 없고. 아까 라인으로 갈게.
아웃턴이야?
잼 라인은 안 나, 일단.
괜찮아?
네.
Netherlands, Switzerland, and Netherlands had a 2-0 lead earlier.
좀만 더.
Switzerland get 2, and they lie 2.
Not a lot of options there for the Netherlands right now.
Yeah, Benoit Schwartz could just guard it up just off center with his last.
Ja, maar dan spin je omhoog. Je tilt helemaal zo naar achter. Zet. Dus echt hier raken. Ja. Hoe hard? Normaal.
Little Jung Young Seok actually made a hit roll off the side, gets away with the jam. And it'll make this hit difficult for Japan by rolling to the other side.
I'm not sure if that's what they call, but it was an actually perfect shot. It also ticked that other yellow one out farther, so the split would never be there anymore.
Oké, gewoon 8.
So Wouter Huisken jumping over in that game, Netherlands, Switzerland. Trying to come off the side one.
Trying to come off the side one. I think if worst case scenario is they at least eliminate a yellow stone. I'm not sure if they can play it hard enough to get the in, off, and get the double. But if he plays it with just gentler weight, if that's a word, he can actually get the hit and roll, tap, and maybe save his shooter that way. He might be able to score. So a couple of options here for sure. He's close. Got a curl, it's got a curl.
Great young shot maker, and will he make it
Just hit it way too thin.
underneath and a steal of 2, so Switzerland a 4-2 lead in that game. Meanwhile, Yuto Matsumura trying to draw in and lie 2 for Japan.
That was really close, Luke. They actually had it. They just needed another inch, and it would have been perfect.
So Netherlands playing Switzerland tough. They do trail by 2. Take another look.
They're sweeping for straight, and actually they really wanted it to curl. So just maybe a missed call.
Is that with all the curl we've seen late, you just are trying to anticipate it and it never made that move?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And that's what you want to do. You want to anticipate it, but at some point you needed to have called them off. So close.
So Korea, Jung Young Suk rolled over. Wasn't shot stone, so that's why Japan didn't hit it. Trying to make another long roll. 73% on the championship.
With this weight, probably even trying the double.
Got one, and right into the yellow, and makes the double. And that'll mean lying 2.
Great shot. No mistake, just threw a houncer. Well called.
Just perfect, and Jung Young Suk. Reaction, yeah, I knew I was gonna make that.
2 great shots this end.
So it forces a draw to make sure you score, get a single point. His first draw maybe a little bit higher than he wanted. leaving that opportunity.
That's where we talk the importance of rock placement. You gotta look at all the angles. These teams are so good now, being able to throw so many run back doubles.
Well, we need to get the 8-foot.
This needs to stop.
Has to stop to make sure it's not a steal of 2. It continues to go and right through, so a steal of 2, and just like that, the double by Korea, the miss by Matsumura, and Korea has a 5-4 lead after 4 ends of play.
이거는 뻗을 줄 알았는데 확실히 이거는 딱 잡혀오네. 릴리즈 차이인 것 같아, 약간.
지금 분위기 넘어왔다.
ちょっと押しながら
약간 다리 이렇게.
こう一緒でいいんじゃない？
Heavy.
So back-to-back 2s, the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship 2021. Japan hurting themselves a little bit in that one. Just, they had a chance. We're lying 2, got a miss by Korea. And then they proceed. Maybe call a little bit more of a difficult shot than needed to. Then keeping it just a simple to lie 3. 2 misses from your skip don't help.
아니야, 라인 잡아오면 괜찮아.
And a draw to the 8-foot that you just expect, and I don't think anyone thought that he was going to be that heavy.
No, and you laid it out just perfectly, Luke, is that you go back to that shot he called with the, instead of just throwing an easy draw to lie 3, plays a tick, doesn't make either, and now Korea has their options. But you have to remember, like, these teams are so good, as I said, about making these run back doubles and triples and everything. But you have to be able to throw these easy shots, what we're going to call easy shots. It's never easy to draw against 2, but all he had to do was hit 8-foot. So you have to be able to do that too. And the sweepers maybe jumped on it a little bit at the beginning, but I don't think they impacted it too much. It was backline weight.
So an early miss in this 5th end now for Team Japan, trying to come around, comes up short and leaves another guard for Korea. And they have the momentum all in their favor.
You can see Japan just maybe walking a little deflated out there. They just need to put a good end together, try and score here in 5. Or blank is okay as well.
세연이 돼. 라인 좋아, 세연아.
라인 좋아요.
웨이트는 좀 확실히 다운 같아, 웨이트는. 얍.
Look over RCF and Norway, 2 of the teams in the playoff picture right now. Norway leading 3-2, but Sergei Glukov and RCF has to draw for a single point.
Pretty straightforward end here. Norway making a good one around the center guard.
No real panic from the sweeper, so it looks like he's pretty close.
Nice shot.
One red.
So they're all tied up at after 5, 3-3 RCF and Norway into their break. China, Germany, 2-0. China leading. Germany has those 2 in there. Looks like lying 2 at the moment. Chance at 3 for Sixten Totzek. 21-year-old skip.
Yeah, sorry, Luke. He had a chance for 3, obviously, a couple of ends ago as well.
Well, it looks like on a sweep to try and use some backing and get a little rub with the extra weight.
And again, heavy.
Yeah, so it'll slide too far and only 2. So 2 shots at 3 so far in the game for Germany, and they only get 2 points out of it.
Wow.
A German team that's played some very good games. It's similar to these 2 teams that we have in our feature matchup, Korea and Japan, where just the mistake at the wrong time or missing the wrong way.
It always sounds so easy from up here.
I've never missed a shot. But there's a lot that goes into every one of these shots. All 8 for each team in every end. And it's how on your misses, it's what you can make of it. Sometimes if you're gonna miss a shot, let's at least, maybe I'll touch that guard and roll over if I'm missing, as opposed to getting nothing, getting no result out of it.
That's right. They score every shot out of 4, and I always say to the teams that I coach, you want to get something out of a shot. If you can't get a 4 out of 4, a 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4. If it's a 0, it's a 0, and you don't get anything. And unfortunately for skips as well, it's usually a 0 or a 4 in that situation for Team Germany. So if you know you get something out of a shot, that means that you're better off ahead of yourself than you were a minute ago, so to speak. So great shot here by Japan, coming behind those 2 Korean stones, but another answer back by Korea. Little bounce though, some space there now.
It's been nice to see from the Korean side, they haven't really been worried. Even when they gave up the 4, they bounced back, were able to generate their 2. They stay focused, they never really got let down. They kept going, have the lead in this game.
Green. Whoa, Shinka. Green. Get it. Yes.
Trying to cross face to this one.
Yes. Yes.
Gotta get
by
by.
the second guard.
Well, they left it, just missed the line call. It's not an easy tap, but they had that one, they stay on it.
You're right.
Get it. Yes.
This is the kind of ice that if you even just lift up for a second, it's going to take the curl. Just a bit of a line call mistake, as you mentioned.
여기
둘 다 괜찮아. 인턴 아웃턴 둘 다.
우리 거 약간 바운스도 괜찮아? 이렇게요?
각이 별로 안 좋은
안쪽으로? 괜찮긴 해요.
안쪽이면 괜찮아.
라인도 둘 다 상관없어. 오히려 이건 또 약한 건 여기가 편해. 네? 약한 것도 괜찮지? 약한 거 괜찮아요. 이쪽 라인 하면 약한 거 괜찮아.
It's such a long week for these teams physically, but the mental part of it as well, especially for a skip, thinking through 10 ends
라인 좋으면
in the 13-game round robin that they'll play.
Massive fatigue, and it's unbelievable what these teams go through, as you say, mentally and physically. So for Korea here, they would really like to force Japan to a single point in the 5th end. So they don't need to hit anything right now. They're sitting, I believe, 2nd and 3rd. So just trying to put another one in on top of that red stone that's sitting top 4. If it comes up light, that's good tolerance. Just don't want it to overcurl.
And get the nice little bump off
Great
of that.
call. That works out well. Right now, I don't really think there's any access to the button. It curls so much between that yellow and the red stone in the center line. Be very, very difficult to do so.
前からやるか。
狙ってもいいんじゃない？
狙っていいと思うよ。あれ多分最後まで動かせないで終わっちゃうの。ノーズノーズになってもワンになるしね。
かぶってる？
ちょっとね。
Scoring zone very small right now. Tough to access for Team Japan.
It's never a good thing when you have to run an opposition stone in and you're sitting shot. Makes for some nerves here.
Green, yes! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
He's close.
Just rolls it off the face and leaves that one out in front.
Pretty good shot. The second redstone rolled quite a bit, so I think it's open maybe on the other side, so Korea probably has access to it. But for now, they're going to try and get another one in there. Matt Samir is so good at reading these stones, reading the line.
Well, that quiet weight wasn't getting caught there, like if they did on the first, touching the guard.
So for this draw, they have to play it tight to the actual outside corner in order to get around that tight center guard of Team Japan's.
Just touches that center line stone.
Looks like a big port, Luke, but really it's not, just with the amount of curl.
Bumper?
バンパーかハックかかな。
バンパーかな。
Would really like to hit and roll behind all those rocks out front. The only thing you can't do is leave it there.
Trying to make this roll. Tetsuro Shimizu. Trying to get that little late movement, and there it goes. Hit and roll top of the 4-foot, pardon me.
And second shot, I believe. Nice roll.
I do believe. It's almost that teaser now of being half open.
Down to skip stones here. Korea doesn't have a lot right now. They do have that one on the wide, on the left-hand side there as you look at it. The red one just to even just kind of tap it in. I'm not sure they can get shot. I'd have to look at it. Well, they might be able to. Just slash that red onto yellow. It might be their only shot. They have to throw enough weight here to move 2 rocks, so I'm not sure what kind of weight he's throwing. Maybe he's just tapping it in for second.
It could be just trying to catch it thin on the inside, or
I thought maybe he'd try and move it, but it looks like he's just tapping it right on top of the face of the yellow stone, knowing that he could get second shot that way. They're taking a lot of ice, so I'm guessing that's what he's doing. Such a nice delivery. Both teams very technically sound. Well, this is curling early.
if they pass those 2 front, and they will chip the front, try and leave themselves something.
웨이트 좀 다운이.
Are the angle still, is that still there with that red one in front on the left-hand side?
I think it is. Weight would have been really close if he had gotten by.
Japan playing that side, would they ever think of hitting that red on the right and trying to roll?
I think he might do that on his last one. They haven't, either team hasn't really looked at that, so I'm not sure. I mean, from our vantage point, it looks like it's pretty much there to hit and roll back button.
Could be the saving one that you said for Matsumura on his last.
But could also be one for Korea too, which is, I'm just concerned they hadn't looked at it, but I think that because they played this one, Matsumura feels he needs to play this first, not give Korea another crack at it.
I just saw this spot trying to get right down onto the inside of that red.
This looks really close.
Curl it up, get to the inside.
Ooh.
Still 1-2, but he did. I was hoping maybe a little more curl and he could have got to the inside in line 3.
I feel like he's almost lined it up a little better for Korea. They just have to make contact, red onto red. Again, not easy for sure. And then the hit and roll off that we just talked about as well on the other side. Just depends on what you want to take on.
롤 아니면 아까 형이 말했던 거 이것도 괜찮은 것 같아.
There's your two
근데
options.
이거는 뭔가 잼이 있다 지금, 맞지?
롤 안 돼버리면은.
근데
What's worrisome on the right-hand side of red onto yellow, if you ever hit it wrong and you tap another yellow one in, that would be bad.
그래도 봐야 될 것 같은데. 너무 리스크 크지 않아요?
아니 근데 이거는 여기 이거 무는데 우리 거못 물어 이게.
이게 리스크 더 커요.
Both teams eating up a lot of their clocks here in the first 5 ends of this game.
똑같아.
They really have been. There's been a lot of discussion, and usually you want to try and save as much time as you can for the last half of the game.
See, both just over 17 minutes left, and that's less than half of the
이거 생각해야 돼.
time allocated to begin the game. They do have the one timeout.
Yeah, both times of concern for both teams.
이거 안 되잖아 이거 맞지?
그렇게 많이
We did
보이지
see,
않아.
I believe, Team Japan play a whole end, the 10th end, with under a minute, or just over a minute, minute 5, I believe. So it is possible, but in a tight game like this, you always want to have that extra time to think.
이렇게.
사이로 충분히 나올 것 같아.
아니 근데 이게 쓴다고 여기.
They'll each have their timeout to use, but you normally want to save that, or your coach will come out. For Korea, no coach, so their alternate will come out and
좀만 더 있게 갈게.
still get the same time, whether you have a coach or not.
Yes, Korea really need to make this call here quickly, so they have now. They're going to try and play the hit and roll. I think this is the only way he can get it to the button.
범퍼야?
여기 많이
형 컨트롤로
들어왔지?
갈게요. 컨트롤.
라인.
더. 옆에만 붙여주세요, 형. 좀 더. 오케이.
Change of weight there in the hack for Jung Young-seok.
Playing control weight here. I would have thought maybe something a little lighter.
컨트롤! 노멀! 노멀!
Got to hit this perfect with that kind of weight to get the roll.
Can't touch the front, get by, now the hit and the roll. They'll get in for a second shot, but it's in a position now where it is open for Japan. But how do they get in there to get a third? Do you hit it to score 2?
think that's all you can do. I don't think you can get a third point. Even if you hit it on the inside, the one on the center line will push over, but it's already second shot, so.
And could cause trouble if you roll to the inside. Maybe just one, so you could just peel this out.
I think so. I think you take your 2 and run.
もうちょいもらうからもうちょい
So Yuta Matsumura, final stone of this 5th end. Well, they are trying to see if they can squirt in there, and they do.
Did. It bounced off the other one. What a fantastic shot.
Great shot for another big score, and proves us wrong. Just peel it out for 2, but he gets the inside and scores 3.
Tremendous shot.
Great sweep at the end to get the right curl.
Just see the spin off. Couldn't have hit it better.
Wasn't sure if there was room, but there was just enough to squeak in.
Never a doubt.
For the 3 and a 7-5 lead into the break for Yuta Matsumura in Japan.
Yeah, でもあそこ曲がるからやっぱ思ったより早く入ればよかった鉄。通ったダメと。間。ちょっと触っちゃった分だった。そうだね。
Well, first half of this game in the second end, Yuta Matsumura patiently biding their time, has a chance now for a big end, has to make this run back double. Hits it perfect, avoids the jam, and scores 4. Fourth end, and Yuta Matsumura went top 8 foot, didn't quite get deep enough, leaving a chance at this double. Jung Young Seok goes cross house and makes the double. Ended up leading to a steal, but then in 5, Japan has something going. Jung didn't quite roll far enough, and Matsumura trying to get just to the inside. Chance at 3 back. So little roll in and able to get 3 and a 2-point lead halfway through our feature game. RCF against Norway. And that stone just on the side of the button belonging to RCF. Stefan Valstad trying to go after it. That other one in the back of the 12-foot can't really play for the blank, trying to tap this one back and get the 1.
Look how much that has to curl, Luke. Wow.
So
what a
taps
shot.
that and rolls away to get their 1. So a 4-3 lead in that game. Netherlands, Switzerland. 4-2 Swiss leading. Wouter Huskins in the Netherlands squad have been playing well. Trying to play spoiler and help some of Japan and Italy out by bringing Switzerland back. As a draw for a single point facing 2.
Easy.
So that one will come down. Benoit Schwartz actually sweeps it. They'll take a close look, but it is a single for Netherlands, so they cut into that lead. So you saw 4-3 Norway leading RCF. They're in the 7th end. We're just getting set for end number 6 in our feature game on sheet B. 7-5 Japan leading Korea. Switzerland 4-3 up on Netherlands. And China 3-2 over Germany on sheet D.
힘내, 뭐 들어갔어, 주야.
So here's the numbers through 5 ends, and there's been some mistakes in the game, but back and forth, obviously a high-scoring affair. 7-5, Japan leads Korea. Slight advantage in total percentage, 77 to 74% Japan over Korea. Again, in the draw percentage, 76 to 70, but an advantage in the hits to Korea, 86 to 78. 2 stolen points. That big draw by Matsumura that went deep was in the 4th end. 7-5 is where we sit.
라이웨이요.
Sixth end underway. Melissa Saligo, myself, Luke Coley, BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship 2021. First one will go into the rings. That's a wild line score, Melissa.
It totally is, and what's interesting when you looked at the percentages, fairly close as you say, but that you usually look at that steal line and you see the 2 points that have been stolen by Korea, but because out of 5 ends, 2 of those ends, 7 points for Japan on the board, a 4 and a 3. So that's given them, even though they've given up a steal at 2, they still have an advantage right now.
So we'll see how teams play this. Obviously, I think we looked and we're just in the 5th end. They're already well into the 7th end over on sheet A. Time definitely something that teams will have to deal with and get in the back of their mind. Maybe try and be a little bit quicker now, conserve some time for later. Shinyabe, 85% on the game.
During the 5th end break, I think that's something that probably both teams should have addressed is the time factor. One of the things you sort of teach teams as they're coming up and developing is you can play hard the first 5 ends for sure, but you have to make sure you have time left for the last 5. That's when things get a little bit more tricky, becomes more intense, a lot stressful, more shots. So little concern for both of these teams with the amount of time that they have left.
Lee Jun-Hyu, 80% on the game. It's the Korean team, again, not to harp on the inexperience, but haven't played. Probably not as many games with the time clocks. But they are full-time curlers, so they'll have been in those situations. You'll be run through, if you're not playing at this level, on most of your games, you'll put the clock on, so you have that idea.
Yeah, you have to train with it for sure. You have to play, even if you're not competing, you do have to do your practices with the game. Trying to figure out where you can make up time and where you lose time, and both teams spending a lot of time with discussions.
So a couple guards out in front. Tanita with the nose hit.
So you can see the tactics here, and I believe that that first one of Japan's didn't quite get fully buried, so Korea had an option to hit it, didn't quite get the roll. So they're kind of playing a cat and mouse hit and roll game right now, but the key point here is they're hitting, and that is going to save them some time. Both teams.
Back and forth playing these hits. You said it earlier, Melissa, Japan's been in a position where they've had to be quick in late stages. Difference in how quick coming out and the decision already made by Japan just in the first few stones of this end.
That elusive roll. Neither team being able to find it yet, but again, it's not that bad. I think in perspective, for the time clock purposes, this is a smart way to play for both teams.
Yep.
Maybe even settle it down a little bit. We've had a lot of stones in play. Just sort of reset things. Take your chances when they present themselves. It's just a 2-point game. Neither side able to make any roll. Nose hits.
That's interesting in itself. It's almost like they're not, I mean, you can try for a roll aggressively. So for Japan right now, I would really try to be aggressive on this roll. If nothing else, roll past the guard, at least to put the rock in a different position. This looks like another nose hit.
And they kept sweeping to try and get that to curl. They could have tried to roll away, but not wanting to use the corner guard.
So it looks like Korea's going to make the first move, ignoring that stone that's top 12, and try and come around their corner guard.
Kim Jong-min, 70% on the game. Third for this Korean team. Played one previous Pacific Asia Championship, finishing 4th.
Just a couple feet too heavy. A really nice line. I think he shot. Have another look at it. Yep, red is shot.
取れそう。取ってもあんま残さないと意味ないからね。
Japan could hit that if they came from the outside, but it is a little dangerous with that corner guard. The thing now, though, is if they make a perfect freeze, it is behind the T line. And if Korea freezes on top, it eliminates that stone for now at the top of the 12. So this is kind of playing into the hands of Korea at the moment. Great shot. Korea will freeze right down on top of it.
Playing further and further out to the wing.
See, that's still on the center line and it's not even at the hog line yet. Just making its break now. Want to keep it on the high side. No bump.
Good.
Fantastic.
Just touches it ever so slightly. Piling up on the side. A few stones piling up in the center. Netherlands, Switzerland. Switzerland leading 4-3 in that game. And they do have the hammer.
I think this is a shot for 2.
Hit the open one.
Hit the open one, hit and stick for 2, I believe.
Easy. Nettoie bien. Ouais. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Balle. Vraiment fort. Fort.
Now trying to get this one right to the nose so they don't roll.
Nicely done.
So deuce for Switzerland. They now are doubling up Netherlands 6-3. So coming in Switzerland 5-5. They sit in 7th place right now, just behind Canada. Win there doesn't help Japan's case, who need Switzerland to lose. They need Canada or one of the teams at 3 losses to drop 2 more games. Pardon me, at 4 losses to get to the 6 loss level.
That would be a big win for Switzerland for sure. And another great freeze.
That's the shot making you see from these teams, just perfect. Now we're at the tee line. Matsumura has had real highs and a lot of lows in this game.
He's made some incredible shots, but you know, we've mentioned just a couple of easy ones as well.
Jung Young Seok, 78%.
안쪽도 괜찮고. 네. 범퍼로 갈게요. 네.
This 25-year-old skipper, Korea, impressed me in this game. He just has been phased with a lot of things that could have got him riding the momentum down, getting negative, but he seems to, his demeanor hasn't changed.
It really hasn't. He seems so calm.
5초. 4번.
Just playing a soft weight here, maybe a board weight. Perhaps trying to hit and roll towards the center. Maybe unlock some of those stones.
Roll it underneath that other stone.
Shot.
나이스.
So lies first and third. And Yuta, they're more decisive than we've seen. Not a lot of discussion. That's what we're playing. I'm going to come off our own and make this double.
With Matsumura's last stone here, he could play the short run as well and sit 2 that way. Never easy, but I think this is pretty lined up for the double. If he can hit about a third of this yellow stone, he'll, with a lot of weight, he's going to have enough movement to try and get that red one right across the rings. This has the weight. Can't hit it too thin, just what you can see.
Well, real close. Make the double.
Nice shot.
And we'll lie 3.
4.
Absolutely, that one top 12-foot coming in.
What a shot. You got to just skinny the guard here, hit what you can see. And enough power to get that red one right out of the rings. Great shot.
And that draw path isn't easy now. Think about maybe a hit for Korea or try to draw past that top 12-foot stone.
I think where the broom is, I'm pretty sure he's playing the draw. Never fun drawing against 4 on your last. Just have to skinny by that one of the top 12. And he needs a good piece, almost full 4, I would say. Not an easy shot.
Jung Young Seok. His team missed to try and cut the lead in half, make it 7-6. Park and Lee close on this one the whole way.
You can trust that it's going to move, so just clears that top guard. Wow.
Right down just as
Look
long
at
as it doesn't
that.
overcurl. And they are good. Look at that, to the tee line.
Great shot.
What a cool customer to there, just a draw for 1, facing 4. Make it 7-6.
라인 근데 진짜 애매했다 이게.
더 잡았어도 됐고.
네. 이게 8이야, 8 라인.
일정으로 해보자. 잘할 수 있을 것 같아.
점수만 만약에 블랭크만 없으면
やり方的には一緒だね。センター行って。
2点取れるチャンスあったら全然取っちゃっていいと思う。そうね。3アップになっちゃうんだったらそれで。ほら2アップでも悪くないし。
inside the Winsport Arena. 7th end gets us underway. Korea, draw for 1. Those are the shots you need your skipper to make. Facing multiple, you try to give yourself a chance. Score a deuce or more. Didn't quite line up. And then make the last shot to make sure you score.
What a great end, really a great end by both teams. A lot of single hits. When the Korea made the first move behind the guard, it went deep. And that just gave that little opening to Japan to just keep freezing, and both teams freezing on top of each other. Huge shot by Matsumura to make the double, but unbelievable shot against 4 to hit full 4. Curls another inch and he misses it.
This one comes in. Look at all the stones around the 12-foot, but the one that matters right now is the one on the side of the button. And RCF with the hammer. Sergei Glukov, chance to take the lead over Norway.
Trying to draw for 2 here. Sure, a lot of stones in there.
Trying to bring this one to the 4-foot. No problem. Nicely done, Glukov. And they've had chances to score 2 all week long or more. He's made those shots, and it is a draw the 4-foot. Simple shot, but it's for those extra points, and you don't waste opportunities. Keeping an eye over on sheet D, China and Germany. Germany lying 2, it looks like. A chance at another 3.
They've had a couple options or opportunities for 3 so far this game. And I agree, this is a draw for 3.
It's the 3rd chance in this game for Germany to score 3. I'll just guide that one in. So it is 3. So a 5-3 Germany lead over China after 6 ends of play. 3rd time's the charm there to score 3.
I was thinking the same thing. Nicely done by Germany.
Park Se-won and Korea now all around the center line. Get into these stages of a game. Talk about it throughout the event so far. 2 hammers each. Even if it ends up you get a couple blasts, Japan can blank. That's 2 hammers to 1 if they get pulled the hammer.
Good sweeping. Didn't quite get it to shot stone, but great brush.
좀만 더 있겠죠?
아니. 여기 좀만 더 세게 차면 라인만 가지.
초는 몇 초?
4초.
Time for some cleanup here by Tanita. Just peel that top guard if nothing else.
And that's the simple call. Get rid of the guard. Let's not try and run it in right now. Let's force them to make the guard. Maybe they miss and we can play straight at them.
Japan has to look at the scoreboard right now. They're up 1 with hammer, and as you said, they each have 2 hammers theoretically. So if they score when they have the hammer, even if it's just 1 right now, they'll be in a really good position going into 8. The last thing they want to do really is give up a steal here, though. So keep it simple. If they get the blank, that would be okay as well. And they'll have the 2 hammers to the line. A lot of rocks in play right now to even be considering a blank. This is a smart call by Team Korea. Those angles very much in favor of Japan right now. Those 2 red stones looks like they will go if you ever ran that through. No time wasted by Tanita. Wow.
No, and this will bank it as well later on in the game. See, now almost 2 minutes in the background. Japan at 13:30 and Korea 11:12 for their time clock. 2 minutes difference between teams after just that one end.
Korea would like to replace the guard. Just touching the center line.
굿. 둘반 셋.
둘. 천천히.
둘. 라인만 봐줘.
라인 괜찮아.
둘. 셋. 셋.
세원님 라인.
둘반.
셋은 가까워 여기야.
둘반.
Well, making sure they get this one splitting center again. Might be able to see enough of that red and the yellow.
See about half.
Switzerland, Netherlands 6-3. They lead. About their Houstons. I think second shot is that one top 12-foot. Very difficult tap though.
Looks like Switzerland's continuing to put the pressure on the Netherlands. This one's curling all over that yellow guard, I believe.
Don't want to tap another one in to give up a steal of 2. And they might have just done that.
It's 2 yellow.
So it is 2. And Switzerland will extend their lead. This was a 2-0 game after 2 ends for Netherlands. Now you put 2 up on the board. Extends it now 8-3 after 7 ends of play.
Honnêtement, j'avais aucune idée ce que ça allait faire. Parce que ça aurait pu curler beaucoup plus sur ce spot. Ouais. Ça veut dire. Ouais. On peut en discuter après le match, c'est intéressant.
Had a look at that. As you said, you could see half of that yellow stone, so they had a look at it, and that would be the side that you would have wanted to hit it on. But they elected to go for the top one, and it looks like it's now, it's gotten rid of one red stone, but unfortunately for Japan has rolled the other red right in front of the yellow shot stone. So it's put it in a good control position right now for Team Korea. They're going to ignore it and try and hit that one that's top 12. Get a second red stone in there. This is really curling.
Crosses the face and will chip over to the side.
Not what they wanted for sure. They wanted to leave those locked.
이것도? 이거는 웨이트랑 릴리즈.
It's a bit of a mistake there by Team Korea.
Back 4.
So now that you get the mistake, how does Japan change? We've seen sometimes where there's been a mistake by Korea, and Japan overthinks it.
I think they're throwing back for a weight. Those 2 rocks are already unlocked. It's very difficult to hit the red one out simply because that other yellow stone is in the way. So they're trying to rearrange everything again. And the reason they're throwing this nice soft weight is because that red one hung in at the back 12. So that's still in play. So they'd like to get another one sitting in there. This is over curling as well. Still a pretty good angle for Japan, I would say.
Yeah, that bounce helped them. Well, sometimes the skip will lose their voice with a lot of the line calls throughout the week.
Matsumiura is such a strong line caller. That one just over curl. There's not much you could do with that one. And I think the double might be available for Korea. It's just a matter of whether that first Yellowstone will it touch that red one. And if it does it? I mean, it will spin out the other way.
태연아.
Looks like they're trying to hit the one in the center first and push over towards the other one.
Just pushes it a hair.
It's a pretty good position. Japan has to be a little careful here.
It is Japan, has the hammer playing the 7th end.
Just
play the yellows right onto the red, remove it.
縦だったら大丈夫じゃない？ちょっとかすめるぐらいで。
Korea has
赤ちょっと
two.
噛めば。
Both of their redstones are in actually really good position.
プラス
So
あってもいいかもよ。あんま滑ってない。最後。
I feel like he should try and remove one from play. But with that ice, maybe throwing about a hack weight.
Hit the red one in the top of the 8-foot, roll in front.
I would be tempted to throw weight to remove one of the reds. I think if he hits half of this yellow stone, comes across the red, they're going to try and shoot it out the back without disturbing too much of that yellow stone that's closest to the button. It's not very much weight he's throwing to move 3 rocks.
Right up. Yep. Yes. 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 Yes.
Gotta go for line.
Yes.
Tanita just going the whole way on this.
Yes.
Try and hold this one.
Yes.
Spill that one out, but just lie one.
Plays that shot with maybe board weight. Would probably have ended up a little bit better simply because I believe it's second shot.
Did hook that red one up top though. That is the nice thing for Japan.
That's huge for Japan right now.
Some more weight would have pushed that one back. You push that red one, spill it all the way out.
Yeah, he hit it exactly where he wanted to, but yeah, just more weight would have accomplished what he wanted to a little better. But great brush by Tanita. So Korea doesn't have access to that one that's top button except to try and play a cross-face double here and lie 2 that way. Tough shot, but it's there. Half a rock, maybe a little less, third.
Yeah, less. He can see more than what he needs to hit.
Exactly.
Yep.
Made some great ones. Jung Young-seok made the draw in the last. Trying to hold the line. And we'll stick it. Not quite. Had to hold that a little bit thinner. Great opportunity for another multiple score for Japan in this game.
Yeah, he hits just another inch or 2 thinner and he would have had it right across the top. It would have spun out sideways. So great opportunity here for Japan to get their 2 points.
And these are the ones to capitalize, score those extra points. Pivotal for Japan. Still holding on to a playoff life. Very minimal chance, but they need help. They have to win out.
So again, looking for that ever so important 14-3 to 14-7. Even 14-9 will get it there. He made a open draw earlier in the game, and unfortunately it was heavy, went right through the rings, but no mistake on this one.
Just absolutely perfect weight this time for Yuta Matsumura in Japan. They get a 3-point lead back with a third multiple score, 9-6 after 7.
보이면 이렇게 살려준다면
어제 상대가 안 내고 있으니까 인턴 좀 더 잡아드릴까요? 아니면 테이크는 아까 그 범퍼는 웨이트 몇 나왔어요? 거의?
그 약해서 5반 6인가? 그게 6인가 나왔던 거. 정민형께 6.
그렇게 약한 건 아니었어.
맞는 게 좀 약해 보여.
근데 지금 6이면은 좀 약한 것 같아요. 하나 올릴만 해요.
정민이 형
Our live coverage, the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship continue here from the Winsport Arena, part of Canada Olympic Park. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Second time it's played host to the World Men's Championship.
Nice deep.
And Japan and Korea, two rival nations on the ice. And that's the line score here. Luke Coley with Melissa Saligo. Just an important draw by Matsumura to make and get that 3-point lead. In good control right now of this game.
And if I were Japan, I think I'd start playing a little simpler. You have a 3-point lead, 3 ends to go.
Whoa.
Yes, Korea has two hammers to your 1, but just play a little simpler. You don't need to take any more chances. You've got enough points to win the game.
Okay.
And I like this call. We would have seen a couple of ends ago, he would have thrown a center guard up on that rock in the rings. He's going to bring this one right into the house.
We've seen Japan. We know the middle of the lineup that they can hit. And they can play very well. Tanita and Shimizu. Definitely want to be playing more of those than the draw game. And a good pair for Abe.
2 great shots. Most importantly, didn't slip behind the T line.
Comparison of players, slight advantage for Abe, 89 to 86 here in this game.
셋까지.
정민이 형. 확실히 정민이 형 라인이에요. 셋, 웨이트는 좋아.
오케이. 라인 내려오고 있어. 좀만.
많이
보통은 약간 빨라요.
빨라지.
Stacking the 2 corner guards.
It's like Team Korea kind of is in Japan's head what they're going to play. So knowing very much that they threw 2 in the rings, and then they'll probably end up coming over to peel. So by stacking the 2, they'll at least end up still having 1 corner guard, which would be very important for Team Korea. So this one needs to be a very tight center. If it slips into the rings, it's not the end of the world, but don't want it deep.
So look, the numbers dropping at the second position, both in the 70s, but Tanita, small advantage for Team Japan.
Yep.
Korea has to be very careful where they put this particular shot. Because of those 2 yellow stones, they could actually double into the one on the side. So just, they don't want it too deep.
We'll look over RCF Norway as they're in late stages, the 8th end. Stefan Valstad in Norway. A lot of discussion in this end, but a chance here. Hit the 4-foot for 2 for Norway.
There's definitely some back and forth, and as you say, tons of discussion. And finally, to get to this point, needs full 4. Made one of these a couple of ends ago.
When you get to this point of the game, you want to try and score in the even ends, and they can try and score a deuce. And will do so, making it a 6-5 Norway lead. What a big draw for Valstad, trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. 2 games yesterday. And now they have a lead over RCF. And RCF a game ahead of them in the standings at 8-2. Sweden, who's not on this draw, has qualified for the playoffs with a win last night over Canada. It's the only one we know. Still 5 spots available. Japan clinging to any chance of being one of those, and for them, they would like to see teams coming back to them. They need the 6 losses to be in play, but it looks like it's just too many.
And with Team Switzerland having a good game out there today, I think that's even decreasing their chances even more.
So Korea gets rid of a couple of those yellows, and it is wide open. They don't make the roll.
8。ノーズでも悪くないよ。
Shimizu either hitting stick or hitting a little roll towards center.
シンク。シンク。シンク。シンク。シン
That's
ク。
a lot of weight.
When they just touch it and get away with it.
Not sure why he threw that much weight, to be honest. I really wanted to roll the other way.
4초?
So when it comes time to peel that tight corner guard, that yellow one is now going to be in the way. So a little opportunity here now for Korea to get one behind these two corner guards.
이것도 나쁘지 않아.
6, 7, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8.
준영이 들어와 일단.
8, 7.
마지막에 오자 준영은. 아직 라인 없어요.
Trying to use those guards. Just gotta get this one buried.
hard. 자, 스위핑.
We have our first final. It was Switzerland with the victory. They defeat Netherlands 8-4. So the Swiss get win number 6. Bounce back after a loss last night. So Netherlands drops down 2-9, 6-5 Switzerland. So we get to the late stages of these round robin games. Everything looking playoffs and scenarios. I always enjoy that at this point. You start looking at what could happen, who goes here, and so many different possible scenarios based on every single game. Trying to get this one in to be second shot.
Nicely done. Great brushing.
Big scrub to get that just far enough to lie. 1-2.
살짝 근데 치면 별로야.
Team Korea is going to follow them down, and maybe even it wouldn't be bad just to tap it a couple of inches on the angle. Keep it in the way, but just try and get second and third shot maybe.
6 괜찮아. 린. 6. 야! 5은 안 돼. 야! 타이트하다. 야! 일단 웨이트 많이 약해. 야, 와줘. 야.
Trying to get it by that guard. I don't think so.
오케이. 호구톡은 더 빠른데.
So missing that, now it changes with Japan line 1-2. Try and bring play back to the center.
I would be tempted to leave that side alone now. I think you're right.
We look at the thirds, and Tetsuro Shimizu 84% to Kim Jong-min's 68.
If you think about the basics, it's
今ここに投げに行ってもあんまりいい感じにしないし、
easier it is for your
ここも微妙でし
opposition.
ょ。
I don't think you really
だ
want
った
to
ら
do
こっち
too
のガー
much
ド
over
かってなるけど、
on the side there.
カード悪くんねえよ。そしたらこれだけいけないでしょ。ちょっと T ラインかぶっちゃってるからね。押されたら簡単っちゃ簡単だけど。
教わできる。
まあ取っても、
結局ここ来られてね、ここ来られたら結局ガードしなきゃいけないからね。
今ワンツー持ってるうちにこっちガードし
Look
てもいい
at
かも
the
ね。
standings. Sweden, as I said, has qualified 9-2. RCF right behind it, 8-2. Then Scotland, who's idle to this morning, 8-3. Norway, USA, 7-3. Then Canada's at 7-4. So 7-4 right now would be the cutoff of the playoffs. Switzerland get that win, so they're 6-5. Then there's the 6 lost teams that need to win out and get help. Italy and Japan.
最後ちょっと引っ張ってる感じ。
So really, 7 teams battling it out with Italy and Japan. Sort of looking might be too many at 6. So bringing play back to the center. Long talk, they were worried about maybe that in-off on the side.
So this is the right call. You definitely want to draw away from the side, but again, so important about where you put this rock. Looks like they're going to bring it up short, which I think is probably the best call right now, because if you even bring it anywhere in the rings, if there's any hit and roll or double or anything like that, you're setting Korea up for an opportunity to get two. So that's a great call by Matsumura.
When we look at the skip numbers, Matsumura at 70, 79, 77 for Jung Young-seok. Problem is it's real tough to get inside and get protected. So even if he moves this one, he might not be shot after this still.
살짝 안쪽 바운스. 4초로 갈까요? 4초 괜찮아? 정민이 형께
Just going back to that call by Japan, it did a couple of things. It eliminated really that red stone, that's third shot right now. It also put a lot of pressure on Team Korea to have to score their deuce in the 4-foot area. So that was just an excellent call. Took them a bit to get there, but fantastic call. It's a really big shot here for Korea. Love to get to the face of that stone on the 4-foot. Just tap it back maybe an inch or so.
Get by the front first.
Yeah, or curling again.
Well, gets a little spin, which helps a bit. It is second shot.
웨이트는 좋아요.
So looking at drawing into lie 2.
曲げ
Or do you play a hit on it, protect that side?
しっかり
I actually think he might be playing the guard. I
Just
like
put
this
one up
call.
just by the OK tire sign?
Exactly. If you put a guard up, what Korea would have to run one of their red ones in to get two. I'm not even sure if you can, there's a good angle at it. I don't even know if there's a good angle you can actually run one in. Maybe the one that's closest to the center line up there. This is another great call. Don't need to be aggressive here. Just protect your one in the rings and have Korea make a very difficult shot to even attempt to get two.
Okay.
I'm good.
가만히 있어. 가만히 있어.
Just don't want it to over curl. And it did.
And it's tough in that spot because it will curl so hard at the end. So chance here with this in turn trying to get to that one. An opportunity can get two out of this. Guard just over curling, leaving an opening.
살짝 물리긴 한데 괜찮아.
Touched on the guard on this first. Jung Young-seok, opportunity 8th end. Cut this lead to 1.
계속 와야 돼 진짜로.
Real big sweep again, get by, and they will touch the guard and miss everything. Had the chance at 2, and it's another point for Japan, this time through a steal. They now have a 4-point lead with 2 ends remaining. Had the chance, but Korea unable to come up with the key shot.
웨이트는 좋았어.
あとはどうやっても2点以上取られないようにだけやれば。6分プラスタイムアウト。はい。 ると思うけどどうだい
ラインはいいよライン付けレッツ ラインはいいよ
Ninth end and a steal there. Japan gets one more, now a 4-point lead. It was looking like it was close to getting to a single point. And that one slides in to no surprise in the 10th or 9th end here. Getting ahead of myself. 10 points for Japan on the board. No lack of offense for them in this game.
둘 좋아.
정민이 형 거예요.
And what we saw there is we did see Japan play a little cleaner, right? A little simpler in that last end, and that was important.
더 돼.
Again, they've got enough points. They don't need to do anything crazy.
We've seen different scenarios now with this second one coming in. Some teams, 10th end you might throw this one away, but I think you'll probably put another one into the rings.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of teams throw through at this point, but I agree. I think in the 9th end, just keep applying the pressure in a easy way. Like you don't need to take any chances. Just throw another one in the rings.
Yes.
You know that Korea's going to have to deal with it at some point.
Nice. 14.6
반대?
This looks like now a 4-point game. They're going to put corner on the other side.
라인 좋아.
So a 6-5 game Norway RCF, and just that one stone in there. RCF getting what they want. Chance here to blank and retain hammer
웨이트 좀 와야겠다. 라인 괜찮아.
in the 9th end of that game. So blank will go up. That'll mean RCF has the hammer. Down one. As they'll head to the 10th end of that game. Always been some hard-fought battles the last couple of days. They'll try and force or even steal in that 10th end. Avoid a third straight loss.
Green. Green.
さっきの感じだったら
Yes.
5まで行くかいや
Green.
5近いよ。5だ。
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So 2 corners and the first 3 will go right in a line.
Nicely done.
何秒?
14.6
So you have to think for Korea right now, it'll take at least 2 shots to get rid of those 3 stones. But they're being very, very patient and trying to get a rock behind their corner guard.
웨이트만. 6, 5. 6 좋아해요. 5. 6.
잡아가야 돼, 준영아. 잡아가야 돼.
5. 네. 6 좋아. 6. 라인 좋아. 웨이트만.
야, 가야 돼.
5. 6. 5. 여기만 봐줘. 여기만 봐줘. 여기만 봐줘.
Trying to wrap it around.
워.
좋아요. 나이스.
And now it's peel time for Team Japan.
Green. Green. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice.
So clear the front. Getting rid of those guards is always a good thing. Keep things into the house. You see Jung Young-seok really thinking, how do I go about this? Calling the straight come around, even with those 3 still in the forefoot. Probably want this one higher than deeper because of having to move those ones out of the forefoot.
5. 6. 라인 좋아. 웨이트만. 6. Nice good. Nice good. Nice good. Nice good. Hard.
Well, trying to make sure you get this one into the paint.
Nice. Very well done.
Well, Matsumura sizing up. Because of what you said, Melissa, that it's going to take 2 or 3 to get rid of those ones on the center line.
So Team Japan's going to take a run at this angle double, like try and peel off both the corner and the one in the top 12. If they miss it, that's fine. But you might as well take a chance and just take a stab at it.
Well, don't want to touch your own and they get
No,
away with
you do
that.
not.
오케이.
Few
살짝 바깥
nervous moments
괜찮아요.
thinking Shimizu might touch those because that would have really changed the end.
웨이트는
핵
That would
정도.
not have been a good thing for Team Japan in any way, shape, or form.
6 좋아요. 6.
라인 좀 더. 라인 좋아. 린. 핵. 핵. 린. 얍. 핵. 웨이 좋아요. 얍.
They have a few stones in now.
나가요.
Have to be real precise in these
Tight.
freezes and tapbacks.
This isn't so much about how much you move those stones. It's about where your shooter ends up. It needs to stay, and that's really unfortunate. It needed to stay right in front of that yellow stone. So just an over curl.
It's now just a chance to hit and roll back. Hit the one in the 8-foot.
今これこ
I
こに
have to
残っ
agree,
ちゃうとあん
Luke,
ま良くないか
this
なっ
is
ていう
one of
感
those
じ
situations where you're sitting, I think you're sitting 3.
狙えるんだったらこれやれるのが
Just
一
waiting
番いい
for
かな
another look at that.
そしたらここに残っても次やったらこっちからなり
Yeah, sitting 3.
減らしには
Sitting
もうず
3
っと
with
いける
6
から
rocks in the rings, you don't need to hit 5th or 6th shot right now. Hit the one that's of the most problem.
Force your opponent to make the difficult shot.
Absolutely. Hit that one top 8.
あこっちか
Just sit right there, exactly. Absolutely no point in hitting 5th or 6th shot.
Obviously thinking he knows he needs to, is going to have to deal with those possibly at one point and they're staying in the house. But doesn't have to, no need to panic. A 4-point lead.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Really trying to hold this one for Tanita. Don't want to clip the back one.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, there's still a lot of work for Korea to do to even score this end.
Nice.
좀 벌려놔야 될 것 같은데.
Yeah, got 3 rocks
벌려놔야
left.
될 것 같아.
오케이.
어.
컨 노멀.
오케이.
So they do have to move some of them at some point, and hopefully if you're going to move them out, try to bring those 2 red stones into play.
얍. 얍.
Not a lot
네,
of
좋아요.
not a lot of options for Korea to hide stones right now.
헐. 슈트 안 가도 괜찮아?
Need Japan to have a miss.
자.
So they get rid of 2, they'll sit in there. They're shot stone, it looks like. But skip stones and Japan will try and hold their shooter.
And hold their shooter till I3 would be ideal.
こっち
Another final here in session 19. Germany doubles up China 8-4.
那个谁的鞋套在那块儿。
So 8-4 there, Germany. That's their 4th win. Well, China drops to 2-9.
水杯前面啊，对。
So we've seen Netherlands drop to 2-9. China's 2-9, and Korea 2-8 coming in. That gets into that bottom 3 of that last spot where it loses a spot guaranteed at the Worlds for next year for that zone. So for Netherlands, it would be Europe, and for either China or Korea, it would be for the Pacific Asia region. I mean, there'd be only one for the Pacific region, which is a big difference of having those 2 guaranteed.
As you say, look, there's just so much on the line for every single game, whether they are in the playoffs or making the top 6 here, it doesn't matter. It's also about the qualifying for the World Championships next year.
Yeah, and that makes every game so important, so it's not a game where you're eliminated from the playoffs and it doesn't matter. These teams also playing to, if they do have the right to get their country to the Olympics or the Olympic qualifying event, these results will help in getting to those games for their country.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes! そのまま、そのまま、Yes! Yes!
이것도 괜찮고 이것도 괜찮고.
10.2だ
스테이 때리면 트리플 안 나오나?
트리플 나와야 될 것 같은데.
So he does roll to the,
가운데 건 안 나올
off
것
the
같아.
side one. They don't mess around with that one in the top of the 8 foot.
그래도 가야 되는 거
Risk
아니야?
jamming the back one.
여기 잡아주세요.
자, 그거밖에 타격.
노진.
Might have been, it's a cautious one. It's making sure you don't
아주 약간 안
leave
좋은
those red ones around or jam. And
정 좋아.
And yeah, it's comfort. You could have definitely hit the one that he originally wanted to, the one sitting on the center line there. But if you just have a miscue and you jam it on the back, then you open up an opportunity for Korea. So two rocks ago, I would have said don't hit it simply because you were in such good shape. But now, for sure, it's just about elimination here. And again, it's going to take Korea a couple of shots here.
they're just, I think, inside the whole way. Never got it out to that spot they needed to be. Now you can make this double. And lie 3, and don't know if there would be a triple to try and score 2 to bring that other one into play.
Yeah, Korea just with another over curl. We've said that a couple of times so far this game, and just misses the one on the button. So great opportunity here for Matsumura.
Just wants to make these 2 go away. Close gets something and make the double. Karam through.
Awesome.
Nose hits awfully close, but it could hit and roll into it for Korea. But when you're down 4 points, trying to come back, they had something going. Just Japan played an excellent ninth end in playing defense.
100%. I really enjoyed the way they played the 8 and 9, knowing that they just kept it simpler.
두 개 보긴 했는데 이게 안 나올 것 같아요. 그냥 넣어지 뭐. 네.
So I don't think that the triple is there.
너만? 네.
So it looks like this is just for a
두
single
개각이 안
point.
나오네.
Yeah, you'd have to, I don't know if you could even hit it. Would have to try and maybe carry him through, hit that one rail thin and go back. Jung Young Seok.
Yep.
Last of the ninth end.
Yep. Yep.
Has the hit, can roll into that one.
Nice shot.
And will get their single point. So that's 1 on the board. Cuts the lead down to 10-7 now. Heading to the 10th end of this one. Japan with the lead and the hammer.
나이스. 기대.
라스트가 두만. 두 개건 최대한 해.
얘네 시간 없다.
우리 너무 빨리 할 필요 없어. 괜찮아. 셋이야, 셋. 셋.
Thanks for tuning in here. Our live coverage of the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship 2021. So we look to crown a champion here, and 6 teams that'll earn spots to the Olympic Winter Games next year. Our feature game, 2 Asian nations. Japan leading Korea 10-7. Luke Coley here with Melissa Saligo. It's been fun watching this Japanese team throughout the week. It hasn't obviously been as fun for them. Some of the results a little disappointing. But we've seen the shot making and real smart last couple ends from Yuta Matsumura and Team Japan.
I've really enjoyed watching them play and making the adjustments when they need to. And again, just going back to the beginning of the week, just some inconsistencies, both shot making, end by end, and then ultimately not getting the results they wanted in the games. But when you look at the team and you look at them play, you would think that they're in the top 6 right now because they're just calling a really smart game.
라인 괜찮아. 셋도 괜찮아. 라인은 정민이야. 앞에로 보자. 앞에 괜찮아? 앞에로 보자, 영서. 앞에로. 앞에야? 오케이.
Korea's going to try and give themselves a chance to get the guards. And this Matsumura team finished 4th in 2019 at the Worlds. They know they can get on a run and go. They're hoping to have a chance. Maybe things work out in their favor. Chances are not that strong. Is coming in with a 4-6 record.
So a peel by the lead here. Can't hit the red stone.
Yeah, so it'll go back up. He was trying to peel his own.
So he tried the tick on the first, and unfortunately overcurl, pushed the red one back to the back 12, the Korea stone. His shot shooter stayed there, and because you've now in the 5-rock free guard zone, you cannot remove an opposition stone. So that rock has gone back, and now 2 center guards here for Team Korea.
정민이 형 라인. 정민이 형 라인.
They need to steal 3, which is a hard task in itself.
Stealing 1, let alone stealing 2 or 3, and that's 3 is the margin in this game.
여기까지 괜찮아.
Come in and will lie 1-2.
Nice shot.
Everything's fair game now to get rid of for Yasumasa Tanita.
Yes! Go! Yes! Yes!
I'd love to get them both if he can. That works.
Clears him off, leaves that one, a very long center guard.
I think for Team Korea, they want to throw up another center guard. They don't want to bring the play into the rings just yet. They have 2 in there right now. They want Japan to waste a few more shots peeling.
더 가야 돼, 더 가야 돼, 더 가야 돼. 웨이트 좀 더 해야 돼. 웨이트 좀 더 해야 돼. 얍.
Try and separate these 2 guards.
A lot of arm extension on the last one again.
Yes.
For Tanita.
Yes. Yes.
Keeping an eye, RCF and Norway. That's the double peel made.
Great shot.
So this is the final stone. Stefan Valstad, a 1-point lead for Norway. But it is RCF, looks like line 1. It's close of who's second.
And RCF has hammered in this very important 10th end here, so Valstad has to get this one buried.
Baberg and Højberg trying to get this one all the way around. Trying to wrap it around, and look at that.
What a shot.
Gave it everything they had to get around that stone. RCF coming in 8-2, a win would clinch a playoff spot and a chance at that 1-2 spot to get a bye to the semifinal. Sizing up the long angle raise.
So RCF has you would think, a chance to throw the exact same shot Norway just did and get their one, but he's playing for the win.
Yeah, he can be fearless sometimes, just go out and take the risk. He knows he's sizes up, didn't waste any time whatsoever.
Not.
Sergei Glukov in the last. Chance at 2 and the win.
He's close.
Now, do they have it right onto it? Look at that. Do they stick? It's going to mean an extra end because he jammed the back, too. So close. What a great shot to tie that game up. So it'll go to an extra end.
And I think it actually over curled by half an inch, maybe. It was so close to sticking it.
Can't believe that one didn't stick around.
Yes. So back in our sheet, we're trying, Japan trying to play the double here. Trying to eliminate red stones now.
Just gets the one, so a chance to lie 3. You could ever force Matsumura to have to throw his last. Anything can happen.
Very, very true.
네. 아웃턴으로 갈게요. 10.
Down to skip stones here on our feature sheet.
바운스도 괜찮아.
Korea throwing the freeze on that yellow stone. It'll be interesting to see if they make this freeze perfectly. If Matsumura decides to throw a high hard one and try and spill everything and end the game that way. It's really hard to get to either of the other two Korean stones right now. One's fully buried and one's going to be buried behind these two guards, or two rocks in the forefoot. Only thing they can't do, Luke, is bounce off.
It's that simple. Just be perfect. Can't afford to bounce. And bounces just ever so slightly.
And that's enough bounce to make this shot much, much easier for Matsumura.
There is room. It's very tight to getting by and making that double, which would end the game. Running him out of stones. First for Matsumura.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Well, get one right off that yellow
it
and
is.
makes the double to end the game. That'll mean a Japan victory. They move to 5 and 6. They beat their rival Korean side, dropped to 2 and 9. Yuta Matsumura in Japan with another win, trying to keep any playoff chances alive. So 10-7, it'll go down the final, running Korea out of stones in that 10th end. Japan moves to 5 and 6 with that victory. Just one game remaining out on the ice beside, and we'll make sure we keep you up to that as that goes to an extra end. Yuta Matsumura, all smiles. They know they have 2 games. They got China, and then they also have Sweden in their last round robin. So some tough games to finish things off. So we'll look over extra end. 2 centerline guards up. The first tick shot. Magnus Vabrug tapped it out.
Linja bra. Hold den igång. Japp. Hold. Hold.
Find the tick shot again.
Ja, hold. Hold. Japp, 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 japp. Hold.
Touches that top one over and see if they can maybe spin this one in as well. Anton Kalal end up putting those two guards into a good position.
Again,
Again, we're keeping a close eye. RCF at 8-2, Norway 7-3. Norway does have the hammer here in this extra end.
Через. Надо. Делай вес, мужики, как можно ниже, расстояние. Хорошая линия, контроль. Антон. И до конца, Антоха. Сип. Хорош.
Maybe a little deeper than they wanted, trying to go top 4 foot.
4 фута-то надо было ставить.
Norway can peel that tight guard. Marcus Hoiberg, 79% on this game so far, and will open the front up. It's been a back and forth battle with these two. A long angle raise by Sergei Glukov in the 10th end, chance to win the game, and he just rolled off.
Смотрите, едет долго у меня контроль. Линия отличная.
Mironov at 87%.
Пятый делаем.
Пятый есть.
Все, поменяться тогда, поменяться. Да. О, сейчас завалит. Сип, Антох. О, хорош. Отличный гад. Окей, хорошо.
The cat and mouse game back and forth. Peel the front, come on in. Try and put the guard back out. Couple more efforts, and then we'll probably see what happens late into skip stones when one side decides to make their move. Evgeny Klimov, 90% on the game.
Шире. Вес. Просто легко. Вес можно будет. 5-6.
Отличная линия.
Шире линия, говорю.
Линия Антон.
Антон. Вали, можно вес. Антон, только ты.
Kalal just trying to get this one. Cover up that one in the back of the 8-foot.
Сип, ниже. Хорош. Держись.
Interesting, never really even looking at trying to run that back one because it's only back 8 foot. Not worried about it right now. This Norwegian team, as you see, Thorger Nergard, 88%. Looking to waste a couple more, get later in this end.
Хорошо. Чуть шире. Согласно 4. Антон. Давай, я повалю. Антон.
You see the switch, try and get both sweepers, try and get as much curl as possible.
Вдвоем, Сип. Ниже, перевал. Перевал центра, Сип. Хорошо. Молодец, Жень.
I think the fear if RCF comes in, then you might give it a crack at the double. Too early. So that's why the center line guard's going up again. And the question now, that center line guard going up, let's look at the shot that is why we're here in this extra end. Sergei Glukov trying the outturn angle raise. I like the weight choice. Didn't overthrow this. And very close right onto that one, but watch it spin off and jam on the back. That brings it at second shot. So RCF only gets a single point. That's why he's throwing the center line guard.
Пока шире.
Both skips in this game have been exceptional. 89% for Sergei Glukov. And Melissa will be a decision now. After this one comes to rest, if Norway comes around to go there first, but more than likely probably Peel.
I'll say Peel only because I saw the broom go down. But sometimes you're right. Sometimes teams elect to get there first. They know that they likely have to throw a draw on their last. But because that yellow stone is actually sitting at the 12-foot as well, if they peel this one, RCF probably has to come into the rings somewhere. And then Norway would have a chance to play a double and wouldn't have to stick their shooter. So RCF, sorry, pardon me, Norway with a little bit of an advantage so far. Just the way this end is lining up.
That's it.
So determining the best spot to put this.
Укусить чуть-чуть 4.
Чуть перевал 6 футов или прям по центру?
Если мы укусим 4, он стоит ударит.
Мне кажется, можно так же поставить, такую же линию.
Да, небольшой перевал.
Чуть-чуть, можно вот буквально вот
Тогда,
так вот.
тогда это почти стей.
Такая же,
Давай чуть шире тогда.
Ну, пускай еще попадет стей. Я не думаю, что он будет бить.
такая же линия, как в принципе Гардамас.
Да, да, ну почти, чуть-чуть.
Но нам нужно, чтобы там стей был.
Пусть они подмазанные вот так стоят.
да.
Он повезет.
Мы так и делаем.
Такую же линию.
Не-не-не, зачем?
Такая
Нормально,
линия.
Пускай везет.
Линия перевал центра.
Чуть-чуть перевод центра.
То есть вот прям вот.
Да,
Да,
вот
да,
так.
да. Чуть шире, чем сейчас стояло. Угу. Окей.
Все-таки надо, наверное.
This is where it's really important to know your opponent. If you only put this full top 8 and keep those rocks as far apart as possible, is Norway going to elect to draw? It's extra end. They're going to, it's you're throwing against the loss or hitting against the loss. If you put it closer top 4, yes, it's in a better position, but it also makes the double a little bit easier. So I'm not sure I would come in like super deep on this.
Maybe just top 8 foot.
We've seen Valstad make some great draws so far this game, so I think that's what they're thinking is they want him to throw a hit based on where they're positioning this or want to position this.
And just looking at it in the game, Valstad 90% on 10 draws, 100% on 11 hits.
So I can't give you anything there. I can't help you. It's a great game by Valstad.
They want to in so that a nose on that isn't shot. There wasn't much hesitation here for Valstad of what he was playing. Draw the 4-foot for the win.
I think that overcurled by maybe a rock width. They wanted it on the center line, obviously, to make this draw a little bit more difficult. Good look at it there. Has to hit full 4.
Ja, fin. Samme.
Full 4-foot, and that can put a 3-way tie for second place. But if it's not, that means RCF's going to the playoffs. Four foot's what Valstad needs here for Norway, last of the 11th. Babrug and Højbjerg on the sweep.
And you can see Højbjerg, he started sweeping for weight right away by being right in behind that stone.
Trying to keep this one going.
This is curling a ton.
Valstad on it as well.
Tight.
And it will come up short. A well-played game. And they missed that. You can see the excitement for RCF from the coach Alexander Kozarev jumping in behind as the RCF steals that one and picks up the win. And they'll be into the playoffs with that win. Still a chance at straight to the semi. Norway's now dropped 3 in a row. (8-6), the final. RCF wins, and they hear all cheers. They know they're going to the playoffs.
На Q поехал.
На Q. Да, я смотрю, вроде нормально.
Мне казалось вообще нормально.
15:05. У Жеки был?
Всем передаю.
Our feature game, a 10-7 victory, Japan over Korea. Running them out of stones in that 10th end. Battle of these two Asian teams. Looking at the 6th end of this one, and facing those 4 yellow Japanese counters. Jung Young-seok has to draw across the face, draw to the forefoot for a single point. Park and Lee just guiding this one in. Perfect. No problem for the Korean skip to draw the forefoot for 1. In the 7th end, patient end by Japan. Missed double by Korea on their last meeting. Draw for 2 for Yuta Matsumura. And another multiple point score in this game. No problem into the forefoot. Easily done for Japan to get their 2. In the 10th end, needing to try and steal 3 is Korea, but Yuta Matsumura can make the double and end the game, running him out of stones. And Matsumura, no problem, locked in there, makes the double, and that's game. Japan picks up the victory. So session 9 wrapping up. RCF with a win over Norway 8-6, while Japan, you saw it beating Korea 10-7. Switzerland 8-4 winners over Netherlands. The same score as Germany beats China. So we're down to the final 4 round-robin sessions to determine the top 6 into the playoffs. 2 teams have qualified. RCF and Sweden atop the standings at 9-2 each. Then Scotland right behind it, 8-3, and the U.S. a half game back, 7-3. Then 7-4, the final 2 spots right now belong to Canada and Norway. Switzerland, Italy, and Japan still alive but need help. And then you get down, final those last couple spots. Korea, China, and Netherlands battling who will be in that last one to lose a spot for their region.
Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
That's 3 in a row. How are you feeling about your team play?
Oh, finally we're back in a winning track. But yeah, it's a little too late, but team are playing well. The momentum is there.
Absolutely. You can see the momentum on your team as you guys are getting better and better every single game. How has, I know your coach, Bob, how has he helped this team?
Oh, he helped a lot, and I think first half of the event we struggled, and he had a one-on-one meeting, and I think it changed the team a lot, and yeah, it helped.
That's great. Congratulations on your win today, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Japan picks up the victory in session 19. For Melissa Saligo, myself, Luke Coley, our entire crew, thanks for watching the World Men's Curling Championship from Calgary.
もうちょいもうちょいもうちょいもうちょいもうちょいよっと外目